ओके, मैं लोकल उस पर रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू कर रहा हूँ और फिर चलें. It's 11:02, so let's get started. Aftab, are you muted? So this is Asad Faizi. We have the pleasure today to introduce Tania. Tania is the Chief Digital Officer of Pakistan. Tania has actually come voluntarily to Pakistan, and she is a special assistant to the Prime Minister on digitization of Pakistan. Chief Digital Officer भी है पाकिस्तान की. और prior to that, Tania spent 11 years at Google in US and Singapore. और she was the Director of Product Management. और उनका जो प्रोजेक्ट था वो इसी रीजन के लिए था, एंड टू नेक्स्ट बिलियन यूजर्स और पेमेंट सिस्टम्स के लिए. दैट्स व्हाट शी वाज डूइंग, एंड वो पूरा पेमेंट, डिजिटल पेमेंट की साइड जो है वो दानिया ने ओन की थी वहाँ पे इन द इमर्जिंग मार्केट्स, एंड दिस इज व्हाट शी हैव बीन वर्किंग ऑन. इससे पहले तानिया जो है वो शी फाउंडेड हर ओन मोबाइल हेल्थ डायग्नोस्टिक कंपनी कॉल्ड क्लिक डायग्नोस्टिक्स. और इससे पहले जो थी तानिया वाज इन कंसल्टेंट इन Booz Allen Hamilton. We won't hold it against her. So without much ado,
you're welcome to hold it against me.
तो इसमें हम ये करते हैं तानिया के why don't you take a few minutes, tell us about yourself. थोड़ा सा background लोग पता भी करना चाहते हैं कि who are you really and where are you coming from, what's your background. There is some, there are all kind of people in Pakistan, and there is some people who actually question कि भाई, do you really have the tech background, are you the right person. एक ये, but more important, और थोड़ा सा अपनी फैमिली मुतालिक बता दें अगर आप बताना चाहें तो. और थोड़ा सा इसके बाद जो mostly what people want to hear from you, Tania, कि what is this whole digital Pakistan thing is, what does it mean to be a special assistant to the Prime Minister, and what does it mean to be a Chief Digital Officer of Pakistan. And और अभी तक इसमें क्या हुआ है, और what is your plan. Or I know you have done quite a bit of things, and we can go into the details later. But Tania, I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to let you talk. So people are here to listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Asad Saab, for organizing this. Actually, this was meant to be an in-person event in April. So we're only 3 or 4 months delayed, and sadly it can't be in person. हमारा पूरा plan बना हुआ था ये करने का, लेकिन I think Corona has basically turned all our lives upside down. So very, very happy to be doing this. Very sad that it's not in person, and I hope, inshallah, that we are able to do this in person as well in the future. So why don't I spend just a little bit, I'll spend a little bit of time talking about just the journey, to get to this point. I think that's, it might resonate with a lot of you, because in many ways, I was in your shoes till very recently. And then I can, then I'll pivot into कि पिछले 6 महीने कह लें, 5-6 महीने जो जब से I've been here, sort of what that's been like, and in terms of setup, challenges, opportunities, etc. I'll spend a little bit of time talking about some short-term targets, some long-term targets, what the roadmap is starting to look like, but I'd love to spend most of the time on questions. दूसरी बात, just also before I jump in, I hope it's okay to do a mix of Urdu and English. या मसला तो नहीं होगा?
नहीं, बिल्कुल perfectly fine. Whatever, सारे लोग यहाँ इंग्लिश भी समझते हैं, उर्दू भी समझते हैं.
बस ठीक है. I just wanted to confirm. तो जी देखिए, I mean, very quickly, background ये है कि I grew up in Karachi, and basically left after finishing A levels, went to medical school for a year. और उसमें कोई पहले 2 महीने में समझ आ गई कि डॉक्टर तो नहीं बनना, तो बात उस वक्त नहीं बनी बिल्कुल. तो I think very, very quickly I had to figure out plan B. और वहाँ पे पता है 18 साल की उम्र में पेरेंट्स को ये तो बताना मुश्किल है कि यार डॉक्टर तो नहीं बन सकती, तो और कुछ करना है. तो it was just, one of those sort of pivotal moments in my life where I sort of mustered up the courage and talked to a bunch of friends that had left for the US for colleges, and basically just applied to a bunch of places, and ended up in Boston. And basically at the time, definitely had a strong interest in areas like math and biology, and but was one of those at 18 wanted to explore a number of things. So हुआ ये कि उस दौरान I was at a school called Brandeis, and it was highly encouraged, like many other places in the US, ke try a bunch of different things out. So I ended up doing majors in biology and economics and a minor in computer science. And interest था हमेशा से उस टाइम से भी टेक्नोलॉजी में, हालांकि obviously it was very early days, लेकिन उस वक्त आइडिया नहीं था कि exactly कि करना क्या है. And so towards the end of when I was graduating, economy का काफी बुरा हाल था. So I was fortunate कि job मिल गई consulting में, and I was able to stay back in the US. But for consulting का time, that's why I was saying please hold it against me, because वो इतना short lived था कि it was literally within the first, like I think I was barely in my second year when I was like यार ये तो इसका career नहीं बनाया जा सकता. तो उस दौरान I think ये clear हो गया था कि और कुछ करना है. It wasn't clear exactly क्या करना है. It was classic in your early 20s जो confusion होती है. And I was thinking sort of seriously about starting my own thing, but felt like maybe I should go get a graduate degree before I do that. So I applied to a bunch of different MBA programs. बीच में मैं DC चली गई थी, so I was living in DC for a few years, and then went back to Boston for grad school. और फिर grad school के दौरान again ended up actually spending most of my time while I was at grad school at the MIT Media Lab, and ended up starting this company called Click Diagnostics, which really was, we all of us like to say now that it was a little bit too early for its time, because smartphones weren't really as prevalent then. Or the idea really was कि आप remote diagnoses कैसे कर सकते हैं using telehealth. Particularly, it was emerging markets focused कि कौन सी ऐसी conditions हैं जिनको आप global pool of doctors इस्तेमाल करके particularly rural areas में, Pakistan, Bangladesh जैसे मुल्कों में आप diagnoses provide कर सकें. So we did very well in an academic setting. Classic business plan competitions वगैरह अच्छे हो गए, थोड़े से पैसे raise कर लिए, लेकिन I had an insane amount of business school loans, and Google में summer internship की थी और गलती से उन्होंने offer दे दी थी full time. तो हुआ ये कि there was this sort of pivotal moment where I was like, should I go sort of follow my heart and go build this company where there's no money and potentially, no easy way to pay back my loans, or should I go, try my hand at this company called Google, which was actually still fairly small at the time. And उस वक्त Google में एक program होता था for MBAs, where they used to take MBAs from around the country, and they would put them in sort of all across the company on various products, doing a number of different things. So this was when Sheryl Sandberg was actually still at Google. She left subsequently after for Facebook. And what ended up happening was कि वो again थोड़ी सी sense prevail हुई, and bank balance ने दिखाया अपना system. So I ended up taking the job at Google much against my what my heart was saying at the time. And Google I was there for 11 plus years, and I did a whole variety of things. And I think particularly for this group, I think it's important to call out that, it is, and for those of you who are familiar with the company, what I valued the most was the ability to do a lot of different things. So during my 11 years there, I actually moved from doing hardcore sales to business development to product. And the evolution again throughout was always, I tried to look for projects, teams, etc., that where I could try doing something that was new. And I think the company sort of continued to support me in doing that. And I think that's frankly why I lasted 11 years. पहले 3-4 साल when I was in the US, it was clear to me कि मैंने US में नहीं रहना. उस वक्त तो 14-15 साल हो गए थे US में. And I had been talking to the people at Google कि भाई पाकिस्तान में क्यों नहीं कुछ हो रहा. We had basically zero business in Pakistan. A lot of our products at the time were not localized. और हमारे consultants होते थे on the ground उस वक्त, लेकिन वो मतलब कोई serious market नहीं थी. This is I'm talking about like 2011, 2010, 2011. तो उसके बाद ये sort of again pivotal moment हुआ where एक opportunity नजर आई कि लगा कि Google might be serious about getting into Pakistan. So at that point, I made the decision to move from the US to Singapore, and Singapore was a hub from where all emerging markets used to be managed. And there was a very interesting role that got created, which basically, was the person within Google responsible for evangelizing Google products in Pakistan and then evangelizing Pakistan within Google. And also, that was the beginning of sort of probably my, the platform that led me to where I am right now. So 2012, I moved to Singapore. And, at the time we had just had our second kid, and, I had to do a bunch of convincing, to my husband. हमने पूरी जिंदगी अपनी US में बनाई हुई थी उस वक्त. लेकिन the opportunity to, try and grow the ecosystem through a company like Google in a country like Pakistan, which all of those things felt like a really perfect equation to me. So next 4-5 saal, I actually sort of ran the region for Google. So it ended up becoming Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal. So basically ex-India का जो region था. So I ran that out of Singapore. लेकिन उस दौरान ये चीज़ बड़ी clear हो गई कि frankly business sales में experience हो गया हुआ था, इतना interest नहीं था. The reason that role was important to me was because it actually gave me the ability to get, for example, products like YouTube launched. So YouTube actually, as you may remember, many of you, के 2012 में YouTube block हो गया था पाकिस्तान में. And over the next sort of 3 years, जब पूरी दुनिया में, content creators and etc. की जो पूरी growth हो रही थी, Pakistan completely missed out on that, largely because YouTube wasn't present. And while, the large amount of the public used to connect through VPNs, we really actually still today feel like अभी भी हम catch up play कर रहे हैं. So I was very deeply engaged with the government at the time. ये पिछली government का time था, PMLN की government थी उस वक्त. Anusha Rahman होती थी IT minister at the time. Oh, I found myself in this very interesting capacity where I was almost orchestrating the conversation between YouTube and YouTube Legal sitting in San Bruno and, Pakistan IT Ministry, PTA, etc. And they had been at a gridlock for years on issues, and, largely because they just, frankly, neither side knew how to speak each other's language. And as a result of that, Pakistanis were suffering. So, when I would go visit, I used to travel every month to Pakistan during that time. आम बंदा जो था वो मतलब हर बंदा आके कहता था कि यार YouTube खुलवा दे. तो उस जर्नी के दौरान ये some of these seeds of what I'm trying to do here now started to get planted. It became very clear कि मसला ये है कि if you're really trying to move an entire country and an entire sort of ecosystem in a certain direction, you need, ये खाली private sector alone नहीं कर सकता. आपको government के अंदर you need people जिनको both मतलब sort of globally अंदाजा हो कि ये sector किधर जा रहा है. They have the right networks to tap into, and they also understand the language of that industry. तो उस दौरान, उस experience के दौरान, that became very clear. फिर उसके बाद ये हुआ कि I ended up moving into, there was a new team being created at Google, and it was a fairly big decision at Google at the time to start to focus on building products and platforms for emerging markets first. As you know, most of these companies first built for countries like the US, and then they end up adapting for this part of the world. And this was basically, strong and like realization that agar in countries mein successful hona hai, to you have to understand these countries' needs first and build for that. So this entire product team started off, again, headquartered out of Singapore. And really after, getting beat up in China, etc. So I ended up moving to that team, and wahan pe then my focus for the next many years was, how do you understand user needs and build for emerging markets first? उस दौरान I spent a lot of time understanding payment systems. I was part of a team that launched a product called Google Pay. पहली country that it got launched in was India. तो वहाँ पे बहुत important चीज़ एक ये नजर आई कि without the appropriate infrastructure, things like digital identity, things like sort of the ability to move money seamlessly from one form of payment to another, it's incredibly difficult for any private sector player, whether it's fintech or anyone else, to come in and grow at the pace at which we've seen happen in a number of other countries. And India had actually done this extremely well. They had been working on this for the past decade, and they really had the right sort of policies and the right infrastructure in place for obviously companies like PhonePe, and Google Pay now has 100 million users in India. So उस दौरान ये भी बहुत clear हो गया, and in fact part of my role became understanding what type of technology and infrastructure governments need to be putting in place to be able to then allow private sector and or tech companies like Google to build on top of. So उस दौरान obviously as part of my remit, and but also something I deeply cared about was कि how can we replicate the success that I had just seen in India and Pakistan. ये government नई आई थी उस वक्त, तो I very early on started engaging with, at the time Asad Umar साहब जो थे वो finance minister होते थे. So started having conversations there, IT minister वगैरह के साथ, के state bank governor के साथ उस वक्त कि क्या, what is it that we can do, हम करना चाहते हैं अगर हमने इस तरह के product को लाना है पाकिस्तान में, and you need ultimately these big companies bringing in sort of their flagship products to really drive some of these the growth, and of course then the local ecosystem picks up and follows. तो उस दौरान एक चीज again became painfully clear, and it reminded me of my previous YouTube experience कि गवर्नमेंट के अंदर कोई लोग ही नहीं थे जिनके साथ आप इस लेवल की एंगेजमेंट कर सकते थे जो मैं उस वक्त फ्रॉम अ गूगल स्टैंड पॉइंट करने की कोशिश करी थी. इंटेंशन अच्छी थी सबकी, इट वाजंट के इंटेंट का मसला था, बट वो फॉलो थ्रू ही पॉसिबल नहीं होता था, बिकॉज you would say कि हाँ ये करना है, you would have one good presentation, two good presentations, but उसके बाद things would fall flat. So वो this was sort of early last year, and at that time the sort of voice in my head kept going कि यार अगर अभी आके ना कोशिश की, and not that I had any misconception कि मैं अकेले आके कुछ कुछ चेंज कर सकूंगी मेजरली, लेकिन ये तो बहुत क्लियर था कि कोशिश करनी जरूरी है, because if somebody like me sitting in a position of some influence at Google on a product that I had influence over and could bring to Pakistan, agar somebody like me was not able to get through to our authorities, then what chance did anyone else have? So we were really missing out, frankly. So I think that's I wanted to put this out as background ke what led to the decision to just jump in. And look, I'm hoping, I'm going to assume that this is Chatham House rules and be completely open, because in many ways, as I said, this is a community where that I hopefully, we're part of the same community, right? It feels like family, because in many ways, again, you all probably understand me far more than most people here. So it was not like a role was कोई role created था. It was not कि कोई mandate created था. It was not कि कोई red carpet बिछाया जा रहा था. ये मैं आपको बता रही हूँ honestly, मतलब completely openly. ये बात clear थी कि willingness थी बिल्कुल, all the way from the Prime Minister has since the first time I met him last year, had consistently been very willing, and his message always was कि we need people to come back and help. लेकिन उसके बाद की जो चीज है वो कुछ क्लियर नहीं थी, तो वो पे बड़ा मुझे 2-3-4 महीने लगे टू फिगर आउट कि यार मतलब कुछ चीज क्लियर नहीं है, तो क्लियर होगी तब मैं आ सकूंगी. And obviously it was a big decision for us. I mean, we had been out of Pakistan for 20 years, and I was not only convincing my husband कि भाई मेरे साथ दोबारा, पहले उसको US से move कराया था Singapore, and he's been a huge support and a big source of support for me in my entire life and my career, and fortunately his career has allowed him to be very flexible in terms of moving. But we were going to pull our kids out of schools and basically do all of that, and So there was this period of 3-4 months where it felt like personal decision of करना है या नहीं करना with so much ambiguity बहुत बड़ी थी. लेकिन the advice, I think the best piece of advice I got was कि गवर्नमेंट में आप ये एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते कि आपको कोई आके क्लीन स्लेट और या कोई बड़ा आपके लिए रेड कार्पेट बिछाएगा, बट दिस डजंट वर्क दैट वे. और ना ही फ्रैंकली इंटेलिजेंस की कोई वैल्यू असाइन होती है गवर्नमेंट्स के अंदर. जिन चीजों पे वैल्यू असाइन होती है वो होती है कि आप डिलीवरी क्या कर सकते हैं, आपकी ग्रिट का लेवल क्या है, आपकी रेजिलियंस का लेवल क्या है. Those are the things that ultimately help and make you stand out. And the advice I got was कि भाई jump in करो and make your space. Don't wait for it to happen. So I think ultimately about sort of fall of last year, I said, okay, let's just do it. कुछ नहीं है sorted. And then I spent, so in September, I started spending a significant amount of time in Islamabad. And I think about 3 months in, I had enough meetings with stakeholders where I felt like there was enough of a semblance of an idea of at least what the key areas were, jahan pe some sort of transformation, revolution was needed through technology. And so I took that plan to the Prime Minister in sort of late November and said, "Ki bhai, ye dekhen, matlab, this is the output of the last few months. I realize कि कोई role नहीं है, IT minister अलग हैं वहाँ पे already and ministry है, लेकिन अगर करना है तो you have to back it. It has to be backed from the top because otherwise it's next to impossible to pull something like this off." So he said कि हाँ बिल्कुल करो, I'll back you. So that's just the honest background. But so I went up on stage in December again without having a role, but with having spent enough time to be able to put a vision out there. उसके बाद अनाउंस कर दिया, obviously digital Pakistan became a thing. वो thing तो बन गई, लेकिन उसके नीचे body जो थी वो फिर भी नहीं थी उस वक्त. And frankly at the time मेरा कोई formal role भी नहीं था government के अंदर. उसके बाद we spent another 2.5 months in formalizing my role and my notification to a special assistant to the Prime Minister, which is what I am right now. So समझे February के end में, roughly February के end में, that I formally got notified. So that's actually when I got a legal stamp as a part of the government. And interestingly enough, that time, obviously, as you know, February के end में दुनिया बिल्कुल change हो गई थी because COVID had hit and things were just, Pakistan में इस पर blow up करनी नहीं शुरू हुई थी, लेकिन early cases आ गए थे and already there was a team that was coming together to figure out how to tackle COVID. So उस वक्त बड़ी clear decision थी कि या तो jump in कर दें and just be part of the core team that works on COVID response. And largely because look, it was very clear to me since the beginning that if you didn't have a handle on data, doing any kind of response to COVID is next to impossible unless you know what's going on in the whole country. And given 18th Amendment, given the fact that health is a completely devolved topic and is literally managed almost independently, you're talking about 6 different countries practically when it comes to something like health. तो वो तो मेरे लिए बड़ा दिमाग में clear था कि role तो है यहाँ पे play करने का, अगर हमने decision makers को clear view देना है कि क्या हो रहा है. तो वो I made a decision at that time कि okay, let's just jump in and do what's needed in Pakistan. And and that decision has been criticized by a lot of people. And the reason I call this out is because it's important to understand कि ये एक basically all consuming चीज रही है for the last 3.5 months. I mean, 7 days a week. There's a core team of people, cross stakeholder, cross ministry, federal and provincial, that sits together and has been, all aspects of the response from, and again, data was one piece of it, but, everything that has come up. So capacity build up, things like, testing, things like doing lockdowns in a smarter manner, because obviously a blunt lockdown was not possible. So in some ways, I suppose digital Pakistan for the last 3 months got a little bit hijacked by COVID, but in many ways, the learning curve was, that what it may have taken me a year to learn, I think sort of got condensed in about 3 months, because एक तो the stakeholder engagement was completely different because we were literally all sitting together for hours a day with our sleeves rolled up. You know, everyone, Asad Umar used to chair the forum and army was involved, a number of us. And मतलब जो भी चीजें as they were coming up, we were responding. दूसरी चीज आई थिंक ये बड़ी समझ आई कि जो प्रोविंशियल और फेडरल वाली चीज है, जो आपको आई थिंक मेनी ऑफ यू आर अवेयर कि आप नेशनल लेवल फेडरल लेवल पे आप पॉलिसीज तो बना सकते हैं, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली उनकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन जो है वो सारी प्रोविंसेस के हाथ में है. तो सीइंग हाउ you can effectively roll out and get things implemented in this 18th Amendment like setup, actually I think is a lesson that may have taken me far more time to pick up, but I feel very thankful कि ये experience रहा है पिछले 3 महीने में. So anyway, long story short, I know I've been talking for a while, so I'm going to shut up now, but what I wanted to say was कि ये पिछले कुछ महीनों में you've largely been hearing me talk about health related stuff or some education related things, and they've been largely driven by COVID. So थोड़ा सा जो डिजिटल पाकिस्तान के 5 pillars etc थे that you've seen before, उसमें थोड़ा सा हमारा समझे एक step पीछे हो गया. लेकिन now the last 2-3 weeks we've sort of said okay, let's get back in. So actually now most of the things that we had to deliver for COVID, we are now either delivering, handing off to their rightful parties, and now sort of getting back into the core work for Digital Pakistan. So anyway, I'll stop here because I realize there are a lot of questions and we have limited time, but I'm sure there are a number of questions on other things, and I'll tackle them as they come up.
So thank you very much, Tania. I do have a lot of questions. Actually, a lot of people are sending me questions on my WhatsApp. अभी दानिश मुनीर ने एक मुझे सवाल भेजा तो मुझे एकदम याद आया. उनका सवाल स्टार्टअप से मुताल्लिक था, प्राइवेट सेक्टर स्टार्टअप. तो मुझे याद आया कि जनवरी में when I was in Pakistan, you and I jointly presented a plan to the Prime Minister on getting venture investment, global venture investment for the startups of Pakistan. And that plan was then, I mean, just I understand where you're coming from because it got totally derailed by COVID-19. तो वो सारी priorities अभी मेरी पिछले हफ्ते पे दोबारा I think we chatted also that Prime Minister के साथ मेरी WhatsApp पे discussion हुआ, and he is actually very very ready and willing to not relaunch but rather launch. तो startup के मुतालिक हमारा जो idea था, can you talk a little bit about हमने जो plan present किया था और वैसे भी जो हम चाह रहे हैं कि tech startups के मुतालिक what's the plan and getting global venture capital into Pakistan, about the VCs, if you can briefly talk to that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. देखिए, I mean, you and I have had many conversations on this, and ultimately, जो couple of areas जहाँ पे मेरे ख्याल से government बहुत clear role play कर सकती है. एक तो ये है कि you have to help create a conducive environment for startups to both actually start up and operate seamlessly. So एक तो ये बहुत बड़ा clear role है हमारा, which is sort of very very much policy focused, ease of doing business focus, that actually helps create that ease for startups, which currently does not exist. मैं just out of personal experience now, because I spend a lot of time talking to companies शुरू करना, incorporate करना, all the way from SECP, corporate bank accounts खोलना, ये इन सब चीजों में आपको महीने लग जाते हैं. तो एक तो यहाँ पे बहुत clear SECP, BOI, State Bank के साथ बहुत clear conversations और काम हो रहा है कि how do you help create that environment. Second thing ये है कि ultimately अगर आप if you want venture capital to start coming in, the reality is again how do you create a simpler structure that actually makes it attractive for these companies to want to put their money in. I mean, we all know the challenges with State Bank, and we know the challenges of repatriation of funds, and the reality is, I mean, there is a reason why you still continue to see almost no startup that has raised any money incorporate here. Pretty much everybody still continues to set their companies up in Singapore. पहले दुबई होता था, दुबई कम हो गया, अब Singapore है, Netherlands है, etc. So I think for a number of these things, we're not going to see these change unless the government does its part of creating that environment, both for the companies but also for investors. The second big thing is the soft selling of Pakistan as the best and highest ROI investment destination. And again, here, this is one of those things where I consistently talk to people जो आके कहते हैं कि यार हम government में अभी भी आके बात करते हैं. The sectors जिसके ऊपर ज़्यादातर government में लोग कहते हैं बात, वो अभी भी बातें textile के ऊपर हो रही हैं और agriculture के ऊपर हो रही हैं. जिस level की बात इस वक्त technology के ऊपर होनी चाहिए, या tech exports के ऊपर होनी चाहिए, वो you still don't hear of that as much. So as a result of that, we're not focused on that. So, अच्छा, दूसरी चीज ये है कि the number of people involved in this, startup ecosystem, government के हिसाब से that list is very long. और programs भी बहुत सारे launch हुए हैं. मतलब government के अपने programs हैं, अपने incubators हैं. They're all doing their thing. Abhi there is currently talk of a government-backed venture capital fund. That's its own thing. So. मैं आपको अपनी फिलोसफीज पे बता सकती हूँ, बट I'd also love to hear ideas from all of you. देखिए, मेरा जो इस पे थॉट प्रोसेस है वो ये है कि गवर्नमेंट का काम एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करना है और पॉलिसी सेट करना है. गवर्नमेंट का काम पाकिस्तान की इमेज और ब्रांड के ऊपर काम करना है. गवर्नमेंट का काम, स्पेशली व्हेन अ गवर्नमेंट इज एज sort of broke as we are, we don't have the right type of institutional investing knowledge within the government to be setting up venture capital funds. It just doesn't, that's not what the business that the government should be in. Neither is it the government's job to be creating flashy, areas for startups to come in and spending millions of dollars of borrowed money so that you can give a space for startups for 3 months. That's the sort of thing that the private sector can manage very easily, and they are actually managing. So there is अभी थोड़ा सा ये है कि the types of programs that are already launched वो जरा से इस sort of former level के ऊपर है. Our view is to slightly try to pivot this so that we can focus more on some of these other things actually which cost the government much less money and hopefully results in a far better output for us in the longer term, for the from the standpoint of creating that impact on the economy. So, but I'm very eager to hear aap logon ka. I know this group is probably very experienced in terms of doing business in Pakistan, and so I'm very eager to hear what some of your ideas are for this space as well.
So Tanya, I need to turn you over to the panelists, but before I do that, because I have a ton of questions actually. On my WhatsApp. So I'm going to summarize these questions, give you like 2 or 3 questions, categories, and you can answer it. And then from that point on, the panelists will ask you the question. पहला सवाल जो आ रहा है 2-3 है वो women empowerment का है कि what role can you play, or what are you doing, what are your plans to actually empower women in digital economy of Pakistan?
Yep, fair.
So that's number 1. Second question जो है वो telecom से मुतालिक है कि what are our plans for 4G and 5G? One of our friends, Khalid Hafiz, who is with AT&T, he asked कि हम जो fixed broadband का जो penetration gap है उसको क्या हम cover करेंगे 4G और 5G से मोबाइल से, और करेंगे तो वो क्या, what's the plan for that? और फिर एक question है e-government से मुतालिक, and I'm just giving you the questions so you can sort it out yourself. E-government में क्या अभी तक हमने कुछ देखा नहीं बहुत ज़्यादा e-government में टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल, start from home, and what's the plan there? और एक और question, एक bucket जो है सवाल का वो ये है कि भाई what are we doing to bring large software technology companies, high-tech companies to Pakistan like Microsoft and all this? Just to let you guys know on this, my comment, and then I'll turn it over to her. Aftab, फारूकी, मैं और तानिया हम मिलके काम कर रहे हैं to bring Microsoft to Pakistan. So that project is already ongoing. It's not that easy. There's a lot of challenges, and it got totally derailed by COVID-19. But I'm going to turn it over to you, Tanya. Why don't we answer these questions, and then we will turn over to the panelists to ask the questions.
ठीक है. I'll try to be very quick. हालांकि each of these is like in itself a very long discussion. देखिए, women empowerment, couple of things. I think जो सबसे हमारे पास बड़ी opportunity है वो ये है कि हम अपनी workforce को engage करें in a way कि उनको पावर ऑफ डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स के थ्रू लाइवलीहुड्स बनाना कि एक्चुअली समझ आ सके. So iska, what do I mean by that, right? So if you look at areas like look at areas like social commerce. Social commerce is essentially selling on Instagram and Facebook, which is a huge phenomena in emerging markets right now. Right? You don't see it being as big in developed countries, but it's basically taken over the way people operate, right? So and you see this. Acha, Pakistan mein ye bilkul कम लेवल पे है, and a large part of it is awareness. A large, second part of it is payment options, और payment के बहुत मसले हैं, logistics के बड़े मसले हैं. So मसला ये होता है कि आप domestically ही नहीं capture कर सकते मार्केट, तो internationally तो बहुत दूर की बात है. लेकिन when we talk about sort of female focus empowerment, so to me again one of the things I think that is closest to my heart is how can we make women more economically independent without breaking the major cultural barriers that are very hard to change overnight. Those are not things that will change overnight. So, and I think digital actually is literally one of the easiest places and easiest ways you can do that, because aap actually ghar pe baithe hue, you can put your current skills to use while sitting at home and start earning a very, very good living. And so one of the programs that we had outlined, jo again thoda sa sideline ho gaya tha, but we are picking it up again, was internally we've been calling it digital jugaadus. But uska premise ye hai digital jugaadus ka ke how do we get people, women, and this is not specifically focused on women, but I think women can massively benefit from it. How do we get people to understand how to sort of use that mentality to turn the opportunity that you have through these very massive digital platforms, not just the global ones, but also the local ones, to actually start to really improve and increase your livelihood and your earnings. So that's one area that we're very clearly working on. Uske alawa, the other thing, dekhiye, main just to whatever extent I can do this. I do continue to engage very deeply with lots of different groups. Female students के साथ मैं actively engaged रहती हूँ, because the big challenge we have in Pakistan is, it's a challenge of role models. You don't see, आप government की meetings देखें, मैं आपको government का example दे सकती हूँ because that's where I am right now. Most cases I'm the only woman in the room. So what sort of an example are you setting for anyone young that's potentially thinking about coming into the public sector? So I think sort of coming out and being relatable and telling your story and saying कि ज़रूरी नहीं होता कि आप खाली एक चीज़ कर सकते हैं, actually आप दूसरी चीज़ें भी कर सकते हैं, and helping people understand कि yes, while the environment may be tough, and again telling those stories. I mean, you've all seen the amazing news from this week of Pakistan's first 3-star general who's a woman, and also the Surgeon General, and that's hugely celebrated news in Pakistan. So I think we need much more of that to really help sort of start to change this mindset. And I think, again, आप जब economic viability produce करना शुरू करते हैं, when women can start to actually add to the total income of a household, suddenly a lot of these cultural barriers also start to change. So I think that's number one. लेकिन telcos के ऊपर आपने बात की, telcos is a very long discussion, but मैं आपको a couple of things ये कहूँगी कि telco industry में जो एक चीज समझना बहुत जरूरी है is that this industry has been in a gridlock with the regulator and the government for the past couple of years around license renewals and spectrum. So हुआ ये है कि as a result of that, इस वक्त hundreds of millions of dollars, एक तो कोर्ट केस में फंसे हुए हैं ये लोग और उसकी resolution नहीं हो सकी है, but basically hundreds of millions of dollars on the table हैं इस वक्त, जो actually exchequer में आ सकते हैं, और टेलकोज एक्चुअली तैयार हैं वो देने के लिए. लेकिन उन्होंने बेसिकली अब ये स्टांस लिया हुआ है कि भी हम और इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे, क्योंकि एक हम अगेन एसेंशियली पूरी इंडस्ट्री एक ग्रिडलॉक के अंदर फंसी हुई है. ये वही कहते हैं कि भाई अगर आप चाहते हैं, हमने बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स की इन्वेस्टमेंट की है, अगर आप चाहते हैं कि हम और इन्वेस्टमेंट करें मुल्क के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के अंदर, वो हम तब करेंगे जब आप अपनी ये पहली चीजें हमारी रिजॉल्व करेंगे. तो ये देखिए, ये बात अगेन ये ऐसी चीज है कि अल्टीमेटली जब तक आप अंदर घुस के चीजें देखनी नहीं शुरू करते, यू रियलाइज के अल्टीमेटली ये इंडस्ट्री को इस वक्त थ्रॉटल कर रही है ये चीजें. जब इंडस्ट्री थ्रॉटल हो रही है, एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं हो रही है, एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट आप एक सर्टेन नंबर पे फंसे हुए हैं. जो आपने बात की बिल्कुल, आपकी फिक्स लाइन ब्रॉडबैंड की पेनिट्रेशन इज लाइक दिस स्मॉल इन, आपकी जो टोटल 82 मिलियन कनेक्टेड है उसमें 2 मिलियन फिक्स लाइन आपकी ब्रॉडबैंड कनेक्शन, इट्स वेरी वेरी स्मॉल एंड नॉट रियली ग्रोइंग दैट रैपिडली. तो ये एक बहुत क्लियर है. दूसरा, जब आप ISPs के ऊपर आते हैं, ISPs का जो सबसे बड़ा मसला है जिसके ऊपर वो बहुत अगेन सालों से फंसे हुए हैं, दिस होल राइट ऑफ वे इशू. अब ये मसले जब तक आप फंडामेंटल पॉलिसी लेवल पे, और ये किसी एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इसमें एस्टैब्लिशमेंट इन्वॉल्व है, इसमें आपका रेगुलेटर PTA इन्वॉल्व है, आपके ऑब्वियसली प्राइवेट सेक्टर इन्वॉल्व है, फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्रीज इन्वॉल्व है. जब तक ये मसले आप एक्चुअली मीनिंगफुली रिजॉल्व नहीं करेंगे, तो जो आप व्हाट यू नीड the private sector to do to actually help go talk about anything else, वो naturally चीज आगे बढ़ेगी ही नहीं. तो ये these are things that the reason it's important to understand is because again on the surface it's very frustrating for most of us to say कि यार हम 35% internet penetration पे बैठे हुए हैं. म्यांमार जैसी कंट्री जो है वो 80% पे पहुंच गई है हमारी आंखों के सामने. बांग्लादेश हमारी आंखों के सामने हमसे आगे निकल गया. इंडिया में तो we've seen what's happened with Reliance Jio and the impact that's had. तो हम लोग ये रेगुलेटरी मसलों में और इन चीजों में अभी ग्रिडलॉक के अंदर फंसे हुए हैं, which is again something that you will not see the work that's happening in the forefront, लेकिन पीछे ये there's a lot of orchestration that needs to happen to move this forward. तीसरी चीज आपने पूछी थी ई-गवर्नमेंट की, कि देखें ई-गवर्नमेंट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम, पहले अपना तो होम को फिक्स करें, फिर जाके बाद में बात करें. अच्छा, ई-गवर्नमेंट में भी आई थिंक ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज है समझना कि गवर्नमेंट में ऑलरेडी बहुत सारे इदारे हैं जिनका मैंडेट एग्जिस्ट करता है. तो प्रोविंसेस में आपके प्रोविंशियल IT बोर्ड्स हैं. प्रोविंशियल IT बोर्ड्स को हर साल हंड्रेड्स ऑफ मिलियंस ऑफ रुपीस मिलते हैं कि जाके गवर्नमेंट के अपने प्रोविंशियल मिनिस्ट्रीज को ई-ऑफिस की तरफ फॉर एग्जांपल लेके जा सकें. नेशनल फेडरल लेवल पे नेशनल IT बोर्ड को हर साल पैसे मिलते हैं कि आप इन चीजों को कर सकें. अब होता ये है कि आपको, again most of you know, it's very difficult to come in and tell somebody who has a mandate कि यार you're not doing your job well, and so so वहाँ पे ये थोड़ा सा एक balancing act है. So the role here that I see us playing is very clearly putting out the KPIs and saying, look, this needs to happen by this time, and then playing an incredibly strong danda role. And sort of using the prime minister and the prime minister's office to get monthly check-ins on those things, because iski execution jo hai, it's not a digital Pakistan execution. The execution of e-government does not sit with us. The execution of this actually sits with the provincial and the national information technology boards, and I think they absolutely have to be given very clear targets. And then, the performance has to be monitored, and for not reaching those performance targets, there have to be some repercussions. So this is the classic case of, are you setting clear OKRs, and is there any repercussions for not meeting those OKRs? I mean, ye sort of jo sort of stringency or cadence hai, ye unfortunately exist nahi karti at the level that it needs to. So iske upar we're sort of pushing, and again, this is not a ये ओवरनाइट और फ्रैंकली 6 महीने साल का काम नहीं है, इसमें अच्छा खासा टाइम लगेगा. चौथा क्वेश्चन आपका ये था कि
एक इसका कोरोलरी क्वेश्चन ये है, किसी ने पूछा है कि इज देयर अ रोल दैट प्राइवेट सेक्टर कैन प्ले इन ई-गवर्नमेंट, इफ यू कैन एड्रेस दैट एज वेल क्विकली.
या देखिए, प्राइवेट सेक्टर के ये अगेन इन माय ओपिनियन आई थिंक ए पॉलिसी रेगुलेशन चेंज अराउंड फेवरिंग लोकल कंपनीज नीड्स टू बी पुट इन प्लेस. And मैं आपको simply इसका simple reason बताती हूँ क्या है, कि we are the thing that we suffer from is this vicious cycle of borrowing from donors, using that borrowed money through very inefficient procurement processes, ending up in vendor lock-ins with foreign companies that ultimately don't have the interest of the country at their heart, and sort of that cycle continues to repeat itself. So, neither does the borrowing stop, nor does this whole sort of vendor lock-in business stop. And some parts of this cycle are making a lot of money and are quite happy. People of Pakistan are who end up suffering. So, idhar bahut clear iske andar, I think again philosophy ye hai कि we have to move towards building indigenously. We have to build through Pakistanis through Pakistani companies, ideally in Pakistan. And मैं ideally in Pakistan इसलिए कह रही हूँ because I realize that lots of things may not be possible for us to build in Pakistan. लेकिन until we move in that direction, you are going to continue to get locked up in these scenarios where people who are operating are not operating with a long-term view and future of the country at heart. So private sector का absolutely, मतलब domestic private sector का तो absolutely role to play है, लेकिन government के अंदर जो इस वक्त चीज missing है, जो I think बहुत जरूरी है करनी, is कि there needs to be, as part of the procurement process, some sort of semblance of favoring given to local companies. अगर लोकल कंपनी आपको एक आके प्रोडक्ट ऑफर कर सकती है तो उसके बिकॉज उसके अंदर दो फायदे हैं ना. एक तो आप लोकल इकोसिस्टम को ग्रो कर रहे हैं, आप लोकल इकोसिस्टम के जो लोकल कंपनीज के पोर्टफोलियोज को ग्रो कर रहे हैं, सो दैट दे कैन एक्चुअली देन शो कि उन्होंने क्या काम किया है पाकिस्तान में. उसके बेसिस के ऊपर जाके वो बाहर अपने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स करेंगे सेल. बट ऑल्सो you have a higher likelihood of people actually thinking about the future of the country. So I think that's that. And then आपका last question था कि what are we doing in terms of bringing large companies? देखिए, again इसके ऊपर what I'll say is and जो अभी असद साहब ने भी कहा कि these are very long term conversations. ये ऐसे नहीं होता कि आपने invite कर दिया PayPal को और PayPal ने कल decide कर दिया कि जी हम आ जाएं पाकिस्तान में launch करते हैं. Google का मैं आपको example दे सकती हूँ as somebody who's involved for many years in terms of trying to bring Google to Pakistan. These are just complex legal, communication, security, matlab so many people involved at a company. Even the CEO often of these companies does not alone have the ability to say कि यार हाँ पाकिस्तान में कुछ चीज खोलनी है, right? It's like multi-stakeholder and 10 different different organizations within a company have to sign off on something before you either start an engineering practice or you even open an office, in the case of Google, Facebook, etc., who don't have offices. So the other thing is also that we continue to do things that send mixed signals to these companies. अगर हमने 3-4 महीने पहले we put out a set of social media regulations that put a lot of these companies, especially आपकी जो Google, Facebook, Twitter type companies हैं, you put a lot of them on the back foot because उसमें जो language इस्तेमाल थी, हालांकि उसका intent बिल्कुल नहीं था वो, लेकिन जो उसमें language इस्तेमाल हुई उसमें एकदम से वो लगा कि इस इंडस्ट्री को यार ये तो इस मुल्क में तो काम करना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा. तो वो जब इस तरह की चीजें होती हैं तो you end up needing to spend more time to actually bring them to the same page, ताकि वो ये समझ सकें कि सिक्योरिटी इश्यूज असाइड यहाँ पे एक्चुअली इस मुल्क में काम किया जा सकता है. ये नहीं होगा कि अगर हमने अपने लोग बिठा दिए तो कल वो यूजर जनरेटेड कंटेंट के ऊपर आके आप अपने मतलब गूगल के कंट्री मैनेजर को अरेस्ट कर लेंगे. These are the types of issues. Like हमारे we don't have intermediary liability protection. So any platform company, literally any platform company worries about the fact कि यार अगर हम आएंगे और कोई भी मतलब अगर liability for an intermediary नहीं है legally, तो how do you expect कि हमारे लोग safe रहेंगे? So these are the things that are very important to put in place here while continuing to build the relationship and sort of help increase the confidence with these companies कि this is a place where पे business किया जा सकता है. Anyway, I'll stop talking here again because I know each of these questions is a very long debate and long probably a discussion for a whole hour. But let's use the next sort of 10 minutes that we have left for questions from the audience as well.
So we realize that, and I think we're gonna request you to come again maybe later and ask some of the unanswered questions. I'm going to hand it over to the panel. Aftab, you have a question. Can you please go ahead, Aftab? Yeah, so you have to unmute yourself first.
Yeah. तो तानिया, जिस तरह आपने भी बताया कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर काफ़ी लोगों की प्रॉब्लम है, तो मैं उसका भी मेंबर हूँ पाकिस्तान सॉफ्टवेयर एसोसिएशन का. और जस्ट अ स्मॉल थिंग के VPN, टू गेट द VPN, उन लोगों को इतनी हर्डल्स हैं, इतने ऑब्स्टिकल्स हैं कि मैं ऑलवेज इसके अंदर डिस्कस होती रहती है कि जस्ट टू गेट द VPN, सच ए स्मॉल थिंग, पाकिस्तान में बाकी लोगों को प्रॉब्लम है. खैर ये तो जस्ट ए कमेंट्स. तो जो क्वेश्चन मुझे मिला है उसमें ये था कि ये जो डिजिटल पाकिस्तान इज ए नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, सो व्हाट इज द गवर्नमेंट रोल इन इट और हाउ द गवर्नमेंट फंड यू and what they expect from you?
जी, so देखिए, so let's actually, I'm glad that you asked this question because इसके ऊपर पिछले कुछ 8-10 दिन में काफी conversation हुई है. So देखिए, one of the very early things that we needed to solve for when we were starting this Digital Pakistan initiative was solving the problem of high quality talent and human resource. आपको I think सबको पता ही है कि most you know टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर अगर आप थोड़ी सी भी है, आप कॉम्पिटेंसी है आपकी एक्सेट्रा, most people will either move to the private sector if they haven't already left the country. That's sort of largely the two categories of people you will see. It is next to impossible to hire strong quality tech talent into the government for a lot of reasons. You know, processes मुश्किल हैं, salaries practically, you know, impossible hai to even come close to what somebody can make in the local private sector. I'm not even talking about outside. So एक चीज तो बहुत clear थी कि we had to solve for a mechanism through which we could hire good, strong talent, whether it's domestically or whether it's from, you know, Pakistanis from abroad, to come and work on public sector problems. And after looking at a number of different countries and understanding कि क्या models work किए हैं, one thing that was very clear was कि setting up a not-for-profit that you could use to attract donor funding from organizations like Gates Foundation or Skoll Foundation, or also high net worth Pakistanis who believe in this mission and actually want to back it, gives an ability to create an ecosystem जहाँ पे आप लोगों को लाके उनको environment दे सकते हैं जिधर वो actually operate कर सकते हैं. Now, as you know, the number of people who want to contribute to Pakistan is actually very long. I mean, I think, look, all of you are here right now because you believe in many ways and, you know, care about the future and want to contribute in some way. Lekin most people don't even think about being attached to the government because it's not something that's palatable, frankly, for all of these reasons. So the foundation was set up for that reason. It's self-sustaining. It will not take any money from the government, at least for the first few years, because there is a lot of grants. Like I'm talking about donor funding in the form of grants, not loans, that is actually available for areas like education, areas like health, areas like financial inclusion, that frankly we don't tap into very well right now. Like I'm talking about billions of dollars that could be tapped into. That both solves the bringing foreign exchange into the country, hiring good talent, being able to keep them motivated and pay them well, and not necessarily getting into a bidding situation. So the idea is not that this organization bids for government contracts. The idea is that it provides services, consulting, even technology free of cost to the government, because you've solved the problem otherwise through bringing in funds and paying these people. So with the exception of, so I sit in the government as a special assistant to the Prime Minister, and I am in the process of building a very lean cell inside the government, inside the Prime Minister's office, that basically helps me understand how the government and the bureaucracy operates. So for example, agar aapne, you know, file idhar se udhar karni hai, jo filhal to file hi hai while we're still dealing with paper. So, you know, I've basically, look, at the end of the day, I'm not somebody who's trained in how to move things in the government. So I need a set of people, bureaucrats who are helping back me within the government. But jo tech talent hai, jo aa raha hai, the tech talent will come into this not-for-profit. So that's sort of the structure that that we're operating under right now.
So for the next question, I'm gonna turn it over to Sajjad. Sajjad, by the way, आप लोग देख रहे होंगे सजाद का बैकग्राउंड, वो असल में वो रावलपिंडी में नहीं बैठे हुए, उन्होंने यही सियाटल में ही रावलपिंडी बनाया हुआ है, पीछे से बैकग्राउंड रावलपिंडी का दिखा रहे हैं.
हमारा अपना शहर है तो करना है. थैंक यू. तानिया, क्विकली मेरा क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड है टेली हेल्थ से, क्योंकि कोविड ने हेसन कर दिया है वहां पे मूव करने के लिए. सो हाउ वी कैन हेल्प पाकिस्तान गवर्नमेंट for that initiative, especially taking these services to the remote areas of Pakistan. हमने भी launch की है एक tele health service in Pakistan in April, लेकिन मैंने ये देखा कि बहुत लोग, और there are no rules and regulations to sort of regulate all of that. So how we can help to ensure that, especially in this COVID era? Thank you.
Yeah. So इस वक्त हो ही रहा है सजाद साहब के, the one thing I feel a lot of comfort in is कि जो crisis में 3-4 महीनों में, we always say कि crisis को कभी ज़ाया नहीं होने देना चाहिए. One of the things that's happened that's very positive out of the crisis is कि health के ऊपर focus, both from the standpoint of capacity building, जो sort of physical capacity, कि अस्पताल और बनाने हैं, equipment और ज़रूरत है, etc. और also लोग और train करने हैं in specific. So for example, the entire country has only 100 intensivists, like people who are trained in ICUs. And you can imagine in a scenario like this, पूरे मुल्क में, पूरे KP में आपका एक trained intensivist नहीं है. तो आप imagine कर सकते हैं क्या situation है. एक तो वो चीज actually उसके long term के हवाले से वहाँ पे बेहतरी आई है. Second thing is there is an entire movement towards reforming the health sector in terms of in areas all the way starting from research to how data is managed, to building an organization that is similar to a CDC for Pakistan, so like a Center for Disease Control, which today doesn't exist. Also actually tying all of these things together in a way again where जिस तरह की आप चीजों की बात कर रहे हैं कि अगर आपने देखे टेली हेल्थ करना है तो वैसे तो टेली हेल्थ बहुत सारे अस्पताल कर रहे हैं इस वक्त, but how can you do that at a national level? For example, what are the policies do you need to have in place to ensure कि सारे hospitals में remote OPDs operate करते हैं, right? और उनको अगर उनकी है तो उसकी governance क्या होनी चाहिए, उनमें क्या basic rules और regulations क्या हैं. अगर आपने ICUs के अंदर for example telehealth run करना है, like for example अभी currently we are seeing this in 1 or 2 hospitals के tele ICUs हैं, वो currently इस वक्त at a hospital level हो रही है. What are the national level rules that we need to have in place? So there is an entire body that has been created to actually come up with a health reform act, which my hope is actually going to go to Parliament this month. So ये please expect कि इसके अंदर बहुत movement आपको नजर आएगी, because पिछले 3-4 महीनों में हुआ ये है कि as people have jumped into trying to solve some of these day-to-day problems, there's also been a similar set of people that have sort of taken a step back and said, अगर हमने अभी ये चीजें fix ना की तो भूल जाएं फिर. मैं आपको data के हवाले से बता सकती हूँ, because that's something that's probably close to all of your hearts. When we started the COVID response, we had no idea, literally we had no idea कि tests किधर हो रहे हैं, कितनी तादाद में हो रहे हैं, और क्या वो basically मतलब लिटरली तस्वीरें ली जा रही थी हैंड रिटन फॉर्म्स की लैब्स के अंदर. उस समय मतलब शुरू में बिल्कुल 8-9 लैब्स थे खाली जो टेस्टिंग कर रहे थे, तस्वीरें ली जा रही थी व्हाट्सएप पे शेयर हो रही थी, उसके उनको टैली करके ये होता कि यार 10 टेस्ट इधर हुए हैं, 100 टेस्ट इधर हुए हैं. ये सिचुएशन थी जब सिचुएशन शुरू हुई है. अब 3.5-4 months in, we now have a real-time system which operates at the national level, that is now connected via APIs to all the provincial systems, where we are basically getting real-time reporting of all the testing that's happening, and with results, and we're also now starting to get death data on it, along with capacity data, कि oxygen पे कितने लोग हैं, ventilators पे कितने लोग हैं. So 4 महीने की massive struggle के बाद, and again these things are never just a technology problem, they're small part technology and large part administration. So today we can sort of come in and say कि यार okay, आपका एक system बन गया है, national level system, जहाँ से आपको आज आप COVID के लिए उसको इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, कल आप उसको किसी और कोई और चीज आती है उसके लिए इस्तेमाल कर सकेंगे. So these are the sort of things that have happened out of sort of these 3-4 months that I feel, again it's hard to say very good about, because it's COVID के अंदर feeling very good about किसी चीज को ऊपर नहीं कहा जा सकता, but that gives me a lot of hope कि health system के ऊपर बहुत majorly positive impact होगा in the long run for us. And telehealth is certainly one of those areas जहाँ पे clearly rules or regulations को establish करने की ज़रूरत है, which will then come as part of this health reform act that I'm talking about.
We are going a little bit over, so we'll try to not go too long. There are, by the way, Tanya, there is a non-profit organization, NGO, Child Life Foundation. They have done a tremendous job in the private sector. They run these ER for children all over Pakistan, and they are using telemedicine very, very successfully. I'm going to hand over for the next question to Tausif. Tausif, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Assalamu alaikum. The I have is from Adil Yakat. The question he has is, I have my travel business and face lack of internet at many places in Pakistan as a real problem that affects our business and customers during their travel. When you were appointed to lead Digital Pakistan Initiative effort, you made internet as slogan for Digital Pakistan. What tangible actions you have made or making to realize that dream of internet access, and how many new people will have access to internet by the end of this year? To make it broader question, what are the OKRs and goals you have set for yourself that we can see at the end of the year to see how well we did in the region?
Yeah, no, look, I mean, very valid question. And actually, I think in some part, I would say जो मैं telcos की बात earlier हो रही थी, तो I tried to tackle it. देखिए, access and connectivity का pillar है, उसमें let me talk to you about short term, medium term, long term. Short term तो बहुत clear है कि जब तक हमने affordability को increase ना किया, and affordability किन दो चीजों पे important है. One is on the actual devices itself, and then the other thing is actually on internet. Currently, देखिए government का इसके अंदर जो एक चीज government के अपने हाथ में है, वो actually taxes है. It's very simple. That's the one piece that the government has the ability to take that slider from right to left, and really help improve affordability. The one tangible thing that we actually did get passed through cabinet a couple of months ago was on under $100 smartphones. Total set of the taxes there, and there are 3 or 4 categories of taxes. We actually got them slashed down by almost 45%. We were pushing for almost 90% reduction. Like we wanted कि जो tax का जो range है वो बिल्कुल under $100 device के ऊपर बिल्कुल आपका next to nothing हो. लेकिन उसके अंदर एक और चीज जो डिस्कवर हुई वो ये हुई कि अल्टीमेटली इस वक्त ज्यादातर फोन जो आ रहे हैं आपके जो 3G 4G डिवाइसेस हैं वो इम्पोर्टेड है. लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इस वक्त नेक्स्ट टू नथिंग है. लार्जली लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग 2G पे हो रही है. So the other thing that became very clear as an OKR for us to start pushing this year was locally assembled smartphones for Pakistan. So you'll see that a number of policies have come out in place. PTA has actually issued about 27 licenses for local assembly for smartphones this year. So अब ये बड़ा लंबा process है, लेकिन it was very clear कि the 2 or 3 categories that we have to work on this year fall in affordability, which comes down to taxes, which the government controls, having sort of clear policies for local assembly and actual local manufacturing, not just assembly, because again assembly is a lower value added effort. Uske andar also trying to see if we can actually attract at least one large Chinese OEM into Pakistan, because ultimately manufacturing doesn't start in a major way unless you have sort of one big giant come in. And then the third, again, big KPI personally for me is all of the stuff you heard me talk about when I was previously addressing the question around telcos. It's a difficult thing to put out on paper. लेकिन जब तक आप back end में उन problems को resolve नहीं करेंगे, you can forget about the private sector investing more into growing this, right? And the government can set whatever KPIs or OKRs they want, but ultimately the investment needs to come from these private sector players to help grow the footprint. And so the government has to play the role of sort of creating that, solving that bottleneck so that they can go out and do that. So those are short term. They can medium term mein, it's important to set up internet exchange points in all provincial capitals. It's important to develop a viewpoint ke information as a public good. उसको guide करना है policy making और narrative को. Long term में, मतलब if I tell you about long term sort of generational targets, like generationally, personally, I would like Pakistan to be at 90% plus connected with high quality, high speed internet, not the type of internet we still have in areas like Gilgit-Baltistan. Like this this afternoon I was on a call with students from GB, and it's heartbreaking to see the situation they're in. You know, you have a province with extremely high literacy levels and, you know, huge willingness and desire to learn and grow and actually do things on the internet, and just very, very poor connectivity. So this is, I mean, this is core. This is like sort of fundamental to what we need to get done.
Thank you, Tanya. I'm going to hand it over to Zain, but I have a couple of questions that I want to lump, so you can ask.
Yeah, I have about 3 more minutes left.
Okay.
So
it's only fair. Okay, it's only fair I give it to Zain then, because otherwise you won't. Okay. Zain, please unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Thank you, Asad bhai. So I have a question, actually two-part series. First question is, have you had a chance to study the digitization policies of other countries or other cities like, you know, Shenzhen in China or Silicon Valley? And is there a model that you really are inspired from and one that you want to basically institute in Pakistan? And the second question is kind of a curveball, but do you perceive not belonging to a political aristocracy as an asset or a liability? You know, with Jahangir Tareen not formally part of the government, do you foresee that as a challenge, or and in being able to implement your vision?
Yeah, no, I think those are both very valid. देखिए first वाला Zain, I'll say कि हर area की जो हम बात करते हैं ना, when we talk about sort of these pillars, there are actually lots of models to learn from. You know, when you talk about things like IT, ICT exports, looking at countries like Vietnam and the policies they've put in place are, you know, tons to learn from. When you talk about infrastructure, you know, actually looking at India and what India has achieved in the last 10 years. And again, these are things that we've sort of spent a lot of time studying. What type of bodies have they created? How have they built real-time payment systems? How did they tackle identity? So, you know, the understanding the journey in those countries is incredibly important. Looking at, you know, countries like Estonia, which again, you could argue, bilkul chota sa mulk hai, lekin what they've done with something like X-Road, hugely inspiring. So I think ये तो बात clear है कि देखिए, for many of these things, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are amazing examples of how things have gotten done in a number of countries, and I think we need to understand कि local context को समझते हुए उनमें से क्या चीजें implement की जा सकती हैं और क्या चीज non-starters हैं. तो I mean, that's where a lot of the inspiration comes from. So I think that's just, you know, I would say, like, be rest assured that learning from other countries is, you know, it's part of the game. I think that's what we need to be doing. And frankly, just keeping a learning mindset, an open mindset is really important. Again, just second up a question here. I'm too early in the game to be able to answer that very clearly. I think there are both very clear benefits and very clear downsides to being an outsider. In some ways, when you're an outsider, you know, outsider meaning कि आपके कोई political connections नहीं है, you're not the child of somebody who's, you know, held a role in the military or in the government, etc. उसमें फायदा ये होता है कि at some level आप थोड़े से clean slate के साथ आते हैं. Or clean slate का भी बड़ा, actually in many ways it's quite useful in a place like Pakistan because there's very little baggage. अब होता ये है कि वो clean slate खाली थोड़ी देर के लिए रहती है. उसके बाद उस clean slate पे भी गंद आना शुरू हो जाता है, mudslinging शुरू हो जाती है. तो वो आपने define नहीं करना होता है कि उस clean slate को आपने किस तरह protect करके रखना है. And तो दूसरी बात ये है कि देखिए, my goal is to not become, I don't want to become a politician. You know, that's not why I'm here. However, the reality is the SAPM role by definition is sort of looked at as a political role. So it's a, you know, I do find myself in a slight bit of a catch-22 where, you know, I'm not a politician. I don't know how to do politics, and that's sort of not why I'm here. I'm here to do whatever little I can. But it's also incredibly important to have a set of allies, a set of people who are backing you, a set of people who can speak on your behalf, you know, in scenarios where you may not be present. So I think, like many of you see in large organizations, a lot of those rules apply in government as well. It's just, you're playing the rules at a different level and the game is slightly different. So I do think, like, and I consistently tell people that the role that someone like Jahangir Tareen played for me was that he was a facilitator for me to come in that he helped in the early days with lots of conversations and helping me get introduced and connected to people. And I'll always be thankful to him for that. But the thing is political environments mein log aate jate rehte hain. That's actually something that one has to get very comfortable with. Log aayenge, jayenge, people get removed. I mean, I can be removed tomorrow. My role is completely at the discretion of the Prime Minister. And if he decides that nahi delivery ho rahi, he can denotify me tomorrow. And, I'm out. So I think it's important to understand that allies आपके हर जगह पे हों और ultimately आप focus on delivery. Like somebody like me who falls into the category of more of a technocrat, I need to figure out कि मुझे किस तरीके से अपने काम और अपने goals achieve करने के लिए मुझे किस तरह की relationships बनाने की ज़रूरत है, किस तरह के लोगों के साथ relationships बनाने की ज़रूरत है, और then how do I communicate progress effectively. So those are the things that I'm learning how to do. And look, I keep telling people, it's been a huge learning curve. I think I could have spent another 10 years at Google and probably not learned as much as I have in the last, in the last few months. And it's not something that I would, I wouldn't ever want it any other way. I feel every day that I am in the place that I should be in. There have been some very tough weeks. There's been some mudslinging already, and there will be a lot more. But I've also learned that it's part of the process when you're in public service. It is what it is. But I think as long as your intent is clear and you're here to do a job, I think for the most part, people जो सही लोग होते हैं ना, they see that. Otherwise, बाकी का media जो कहती रहे, otherwise आप वो तो होता रहता है. But I do think ultimately, good does prevail. I am one of those optimists who believe that. Asad sahab, मैं इजाजत लेना चाहूँगी.
बिल्कुल. I think we are wrapping it up. And first of all, so let me say that it's not true that you do not have the political support. You have the biggest political support in Pakistan. Prime Minister himself has tons of respect for you, and he has 100%. He's 100% behind you. I've seen it. I was there in the meeting, and I know how much he respects you, and he defers to you for very big decisions in Pakistan government. So that goes without saying. Second, thank you very much. I know we actually went 14 minutes over, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you, everybody. I know it's a beautiful Saturday morning. You are here in Seattle and with us. So thank you, everybody. मैंने इसको रिकॉर्ड कर लिया है और मैं इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग भी उस पे ही हमारे इवेंट पेज पे शेयर कर दूंगा. और by the way, next week, next Saturday, you will have another surprise guest coming. Same setup, Zoom meeting hogi. You would love that. Make sure you join that next week as well. And I'll announce it today, actually. Thank you once again, Tanya. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.